Hey there, Chef D Malfi here, and welcome to Plant-Based Made Easy. Today I'm going to show you how to make a quick and easy snack recipe that is so delicious, I promise you're going to make it over and over again. And if you want this recipe, it comes straight from my cookbook, Plant-Based Made Easy, issue number 8, you guys. And I'm going to post a link right here in the chat section. So if you want to purchase this, you can purchase it one of two ways. You can actually just purchase it once as an individual cookbook, and you get this for $12. It's really a great investment because it's going to give you recipes to get you through the month of eating plant-based. So if this is your first time going plant-based, or if you're already vegan and want to just transition to a healthier way of eating without animal products, then plant-based living and dieting is going to be your best bet. And I make it super simple. In this cookbook, you're going to get snack recipes, staple recipes, breakfasts, lunches, dinners, of course, and everything in between, as well as grocery lists, as well as journal writing pages so you can reflect on your process with making these recipes and see what works for you and what doesn't. The other way to actually get this cookbook is to just subscribe to become a cookbook member and to get a Plant-Based Made Easy cookbook delivered right to your inbox every single month. So we are on issue number 8, but you can get all of our past cookbooks, you guys, and to become a member, it's only $10 a month. So I hope that you'll consider, because these recipes are awesome. They're super user-friendly. You can actually adapt them for any taste preferences, for anyone that you're making this food for. It's really kind of easy because it uses ingredients that you probably already have on hand, nothing too fancy, nothing unattainable, really kind of simple eating done really well and delicious. So stick with me. Today we're going to work out of issue number 8, like I said, and we are going to make this recipe, our cover page recipe, Spinach Avocado Dip. And I absolutely love this recipe because it is both delicious and nutritious, but it's nice and refreshing too. So without further ado, let's get into it. And if this is the first time that you're here, please tell me that you're here on the chat, and I would love to connect with you and answer any of your questions about plant-based eating and living along the way. All right, so let's make this spinach avocado dip. It's really easy. I'm going to actually give a split screen here, and you can see that I'm going to be working on my cutting board, and I'll show you all the products that we're going to actually put in this spinach avocado dip. Now, you can make this in a blender, but the best way to do this is in a food processor. So I'm using my Vitamix food processor here, which I really love. And you're going to want an S blade. This is your S blade, you guys. You see how it looks kind of like an S? It's better to show you that way. There we go. An S. Well, this is what you want. And usually this is the standard blade in a food processor. It is multi-use, and it's going to basically chop and then blend up your ingredients without actually becoming too soupy. It keeps it nice and kind of gives it a nice consistency. So I'm going to put this on the base of my Vitamix. And if you want access to this machine here, you can check out my Amazon storefront. I'll put the link right after the show. All right, so here is the recipe. Super simple. I'm going to just introduce a few ingredients. First things first, we need spinach of our spinach avocado dip. And here's how I love to store my spinach. All right, so I store my spinach in a glass with a little bit of water, just a little glass, right? Literally a drinking glass with some water, and my Bloomsdale. I can't remember the type of spinach. Anyway, my large spinach leaves in the water. This is going to keep your spinach super green and vibrant for many weeks, all right? So people don't believe me when I share this trick until after they actually try it for themselves. So you can actually store fresh cut herbs and soft greens like this. And I'm telling you, this is the way to store your greens and your soft herbs, because it's going to keep them lasting like 5-6 times longer than they would normally if they're just in a bag in your refrigerator. Now, the trick to this is get yourself a nice bag like this and put it over the spinach when not in use. This is going to create kind of like a little greenhouse effect. It keeps the spinach leaves kind of like bundled like a little blanket, and it keeps the water keeps the stems really kind of vibrant. So both things work and create this really beautiful spinach for a long, long time. All right, so I'm going to actually share my screen with you because I want you guys to see this recipe. So here is the cookbook. If you purchase it, here's what you're going to get. This is issue number 8. Oops, I got to grab my cursor here. And I absolutely love showcasing what the inside of the cookbook looks like because it is super user-friendly. I have a little love note here on one of the first pages, a recipe key. This gives you color coding for all the different types of recipes. And today we are in the the green recipes, which is our snack recipes. We're on Thursdays. I give you a calendar menu tool, which is really great because this gives you these little boxes where you can check off or put the dates on every single one of these recipes according to when you want to make it. And then week by week, it goes through every single week in order. And then on the weekends, you're going to get a staple recipe. We're going to talk about the plant-based yogurt here in a second. And then you get some of these wonderful journal entry pages. You get to actually reflect on what was it like for you to eat this food. Write about your experience cooking and eating the recipes. Describe how you felt before, during, and after the cooking process. How did you express these feelings through your foods? So these are really kind of cool questions to think about as you go through. And I'm going to get to our page here. Today, we are working on week 4. This is the last recipe that I'm going to feature out of this cookbook for the month. And here we are, spinach avocado dip. This is going to serve 6 people. It's just going to take a few minutes to make. First things first, we need a little spinach and avocado. All right, I'm going to come back. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now and come back to you guys. So we have some spinach, like I said, and we have some avocado. Okay, so I'm going to use a California avocado here. This is really great. You know that it is ready. This is a Hass avocado when you can put your thumb on the avocado flesh and your thumb kind of like falls right in. It kind of like can feel the creaminess underneath the skin. Yeah, really, really important. Okay, you want a creamy avocado, ripe avocado. It has to be ripe or else this is not going to work. And it just won't come together if it doesn't, if it's not creamy enough. So I'm going to make a half recipe. So 1 avocado for me, and I won't go through exact quantities. You guys can get those if you purchase the cookbook, which I hope you do. Grab my garbage bag, and I like to just take my knife here with the pit and watch what I do. I take the handle of the knife and I just kind of like hit it on the handle of the trash can. So everything is staying sanitary and the pit just kind of falls off. That's the best way to get an avocado off of the pit. Don't try to like grab it with your hands because I've seen people do that and then miss and then all of a sudden their hand goes into the blade. You don't want to do that. All right, so you can see in the overhead, I want to scoop this out now. The cool thing about the avocado is that you can see it comes with a variation of green color. That's the mighty avocado for you. You see that in the middle near the pit, you're going to have this like white flesh, right? Especially right around the pit. And then as you kind of like move farther away from the pit to the edges, you're going to get this nice variegation of green. And it goes from a light green to a lime green to a darker green. Now, that darker green right around the edge is actually where all the nutrients are. Now, most people don't know that. So the really important thing to do when you're using an avocado is to scrape out that everything all the way to the bit on the end. So that dark green bit. Now, I like to just use a spoon and kind of just run my spoon all the way around. Just like this. And you get it. And then basically I can grab my whole half of avocado and then look, we have a perfectly clean shell. And I've really cleaned this. All of that dark green avocado is going to be in my spinach avocado dip. So I want all those nutrients. That's where a lot of the fiber is. It's right on the end of that, like the skin surface near the fruit. All right. So the other half goes right in. All right. I want some spinach as well. So I'm just going to grab it right from my cup, about a half a cup or so. Perfect. Now, this is not baby spinach. It's full leaf, full-blown spinach. So I'm going to use the leaves as well as the stems, okay? You can use all parts. Just make sure, just to help your food processor out, give it a quick run with your knife. Run your knife over it a few times so that the stems are smaller bits, and it's going to end up blending well in the food processor, and everything will mix more consistently when you do it that way. All right, next thing I need is a flavor agent. So I'm going to use some garlic because I love garlic, of course, California garlic. So here you go. You can use fresh garlic, which I highly recommend, or you can use frozen. I'm going to show you a cool product that I like. I love this product if you've never used it before. This is from Durot crushed garlic. It comes in these little tiny cubes, just like this. 1 cube equals 1 clove. And it is a freezer product. So you can get this in the freezer section of the freezer section, usually near the frozen peas and things like that. So both will work, but I'm going to use fresh garlic because I have a bunch on hand. And I'm going to use 1 clove, which I have right here. Now, this is super fresh. You can see it's so fresh that the inner part of this skin here is kind of purple or pink. Do you see that? Yeah, you can kind of see that, right? Well, I know that it's fresh and going to be really sweet, but also very garlicky. So I only need to use 1. And I'm going to put my knife right over the piece of garlic and then give it a whack with my wrist. And what that's going to do is just literally pull off the skin in one fell swoop. See how easy that was? And now the rest of it, I can just kind of grab it with my knife, throw it right into my food processor. Okay, you guys with me? So simple. Now, if you want to use garlic powder because that's all you have, that's great. If you want to use ginger, you could also do that. Really make it your own. All right, the next thing that I want is a little lime juice and a little bit of extra virgin avocado oil. So lime juice, I'm going to use a few tablespoons of that as well as avocado oil. Now let's talk about lime juice first. Here we go. I'm going to use this beautiful juicy lime, and I know that it's juicy because look, you can see it's kind of bouncy. I'm going to just run my lime over my cutting board, give it a slice, and now I have this really cool juicer. One of these. Have you ever seen these? I'm sure you have, and probably you might have one at home. Grab it, and then literally this inverts the citrus. And I love using the orange, the one for oranges that has the bigger opening, because everything will fit in it. The orange, the lime, as well as the lemon, and it sort of inverts it. So this does one of two things. It pulls the juice as well as the oil out. So it's going to get really kind of juicy and oily, and that's what we want. We want even the oil of the citrus, because that is where a lot of the citrus nutrients are in the lime and the orange and the lemon. It's in the skin. It's in that oily flesh. All right. So I love that it inverts it. Now these will go right into my compost, or if you want, into some water with ice. You can steep there for a while. It'll be really delicious. All right. Now we want a little avocado oil. I love using this. This is Chosen Foods avocado oil, 100% pure avocado oil. Non-GMO project verified, and also glyphosate residue free. So we have two of these distinctions here. Really great. The reason I like avocado oil for kind of all purpose is because it says it right here. It's all purpose. It has a high smoke point. It can go up to 500 degrees if you use it to cook with. So it's great for cooking with, but it's also really great for things like this, dips and sautés and marinades, because it is flavorless. It has a very neutral flavor. So I'm going to add just a few tablespoons. And now I know some of you here on the line, like Roberta, is whole food plant-based. If you're a whole food plant-based person, meaning you don't eat any salt, oil, or sugar, that's okay. You can actually remove the oil from this recipe and just use cold filtered water. Cold filtered water is going to be really great if you're whole food plant-based, because it's going to give you that hydrating the feel. It's going to like make sure that your dips and your marinades and stuff are still loose and not too thick, but it's also going to give you like kind of a neutral flavor. So don't use tap water, because that might give you like impart a little flavor into it. Mario asked a good question. This might be silly. It's not Mario. I'm glad you asked. But why must we add the oil? You don't. You can actually take the oil out altogether and just kind of leave it out. But the oil is really good because it's going to give you a kind of shiny effect, but it's also going to add some richness, some fattiness to your dip. And there is a little bit of a flavor distinction between a dip or a marinade that's made without oil and ones that are made with oil. It's going to give you a nice another layer of flavor. Okay, so really we're using it for flavor, but we're also using it because it's going to make your dip really nice and shiny and beautiful looking, but totally optional. No silly questions here. Thank you for asking. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate it. All right. Well, okay, here. I love, this is a good recommendation from Penny. Penny says, I like the avocado combo. She currently uses the Trader Joe's marinated artichokes and spinach to make her dips. So I love this. Penny, you've shared some really great suggestions here, and I thank you for that. Penny's suggesting that you can actually remove the avocado and swap in artichokes. Marinated artichokes would be fantastic. So do that. Make it your own. Use this recipe and make it however you want, all right? All right, next thing we want is a little salt. I'm going to use a little sea salt here, you guys. Here's my sea salt. Really kind of fine. I've been getting a lot of questions on what brand I use. Here's what I like right now, Alessi. I love this Alessi. This is a Greek from the Mediterranean sea salt. It is fine. It is all natural. It does not contain iodine, which is fine. I don't need it. There's iodine in our water, and I'm going to get it from a few other sources. But I really love all natural sea salt. Really great, really delicious. Perfect for this recipe. All right, so you can add as much or as little as you want of this. I think I'm going to do just like a quarter to a half a teaspoon. I think I'll do a quarter teaspoon or less. I just did like an eighth of a teaspoon there. All right, the last thing that I want, no, actually second to last, some herbs. So you can use cilantro, you can use parsley, you can even use basil. But I'm going to show you that I've been growing some fresh cilantro in my garden. And I like to grow it because it ends up being a lot more flavorful. I really wish you were right here in my kitchen, because I just opened up this paper towel and it's like wafting with beautiful cilantro flavor. So I grow this, and I'm going to use the stem as well as the leaf, and I'm going to just cut it. And the cool thing about using homegrown cilantro is that it usually grows out these beautiful cilantro flowers. So look at these. All right. And that's called bolting. That means that the plant is, I'm not harvesting fast enough. So I'm going to save that flower there, and I'm going to use it in just a bit, probably to garnish. That'll be a great use for it. And I'm just making sure there's not any dirt or anything. I've already rinsed this, but I really want to make sure there's not anything weird. Dirt, bugs. You can get all that when you grow it at home. So just make sure if you see any of that, I suppose you could eat it if you want, but I want to make sure it's not going in my dip. All right, so a bunch of cilantro here. These stems tend to be pretty thick when they're homegrown, so I'm just going to dice them up, throw it in. That's going to give a lot of flavor. Any herb will do. And then last but certainly not least, I'm going to use plant-based yogurt. Now, we talked about the staple recipes that you're going to get with this Plant-Based Made Easy Cookbook. You guys, this is the plant-based yogurt. I'm going to show you how to make it. If you purchase this cookbook, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be a yogurt maker because it's so easy and it's so delicious, and you're going to save yourself a ton of time and money. You're not going to go to the grocery store every few days for vegan or plant-based yogurt, which I know a lot of you do sometimes. I certainly did. I used to do this before I learned how to make it. And in market, yogurt that's vegan or plant-based, like Cocoa Yo, is very expensive. For just 2 ounces, usually you're going to pay $5 or more. And here's how to make it homemade. All right. So look at just the color. It's pure white. Look at the front view cam, pure white. The overhead cam is giving me like this brownish glare, but I promise you it's pure white. And I'm going to just taste it here. Now, I've changed up the staple recipe. So if you've purchased our cookbooks in the past, I encourage you to consider purchasing it in the future, because I always am evolving the recipes, especially the staples, to make them even better. So I've changed this up. Oh my God. It's so delicious. But instead of using cashews this month, I've realized it's even better with coconut. Now, Cocoa Yo, which is gosh, that's so good, which is an awesome vegan yogurt brand. Like I said, they're really great, but they're very expensive, and I figured out a way to make it. So I'm going to use coconut shreds here. I soak these overnight. I then put the soaked coconut in a blender with a little bit of water. You guys, if you want to get high quality coconut shreds, you can get these from Almond Cow. I give you a discount code to purchase the Almond Cow or any of the nuts and seeds from their website in my cookbooks. But you want to take these coconuts that have been soaked, put it in your blender with some water, with a little bit of psyllium husk powder, which is this right here. And if you've never used psyllium husk powder, it's basically an insoluble fiber. It comes right from plant sources. It is gluten-free, non-GMO. It is vegan. It's raw friendly, and it's going to thicken up your vegan cheeses and plant-based yogurts and things like that. This is really great. If you want this, this is going to be on my Amazon page as well as these cute little mason jars. And I love to make my yogurt. I blend that up, all of it, with a little water, the coconut, the psyllium husks, the water, in a blender. And it's going to be this white liquid. I put it in a glass mason jar. And then I put this mason jar in an oven that's been preheated to its lowest setting. Usually for most home ovens, that's 170 degrees. As soon as it gets up to temperature, I turn off the heat, and then I place the liquid in the mason jar in the oven, and I let it sit there for 12 hours. The oven is off, but there's that residual heat from the oven preheating. And then after 24 hours, you're going to get a really nice mild yogurt. After 18 hours, it gets a little bit more tangy. And then after 24 hours, you get a very thick and tangy yogurt, which is this. And this is going to be more akin to Greek yogurt. It's really great. You want to remove it from the oven after your length of time of fermenting, and then put a sustainable cover on it. This is a wonderful cover. I love these BPA-free sustainable covers. I have these on my Amazon page as well. I highly recommend these over the mason jar covers or lids that are metal, because those get rusty. And that's it. Now I'm going to use a little bit of this yogurt in my dip here. And you can use as much or as little as you want. I really just want a quarter of a cup or so. I think that's good. And now let's blend this up and then plate. Lock it into place. And I'm going to go for a number 1 setting first and just let it go. Okay, after a few minutes, just take a spatula, and I'm going to use this hard spatula here. Usually comes with the food processor, and you can just run it around the blade. And this is a hard spatula, meaning it's not going to get chipped on the blade. That S blade we were talking about earlier. Just kind of run it around. Make sure that everything on the sides is being blended up, and then give it one more whirl until it's nice and creamy. Looks really good. Okay, this looks really good, you guys, and I know it's done because I'm going to just stop it at the consistency that I want, which is kind of a little chunky, but mostly creamy, and I'll show you here in the overhead. See that? This looks really good. Give it a second. It will focus. There we go. I love this. All right, let me clear the decks and then let's plate it up. A question is, does my coconut yogurt or plant-based yogurt impart any of the coconut or nut flavor? It doesn't. You can actually avoid that by using a lot more water. I think the cashew tastes more neutral than the coconut. The coconut will have a little bit of that coconut flavor, but it's really mild and it really goes with everything. Oh, here's a good question about herbs. Cindy asks, I notice that sometimes when I buy cilantro, it doesn't have much of a smell. Does that mean it's not fresh? No, Cindy, it actually just means that it's kind of grown bulk grown or grown in a greenhouse or something like that, where it didn't have access to a lot of the nutrients from the soil or a lot of sunlight. It doesn't mean that it's not fresh, but if you do find that wherever you purchase it, it's the longer it sits in your refrigerator, the more or less aromatic it becomes, use it right away. So as soon as you buy it, try to use it as soon as you buy it. And that's going to give you the most flavor and the most aroma out of the herbs. That's a really good question. Thank you. Okay, cool. So let me plate it up. I'm going to actually serve this with some Petit carrots. These are rainbow Petit carrots. I get these from Trader Joe's. So all my Trader Joe's fans out there, I know you're there. I love me some Trader Joe's. I'm going to just grab a scissors and open this up. Okay, cool. And I like these because I can roast these, but I like them because they're so beautiful. Look how cute they are, right? And they come in lots of different colors. And I like them because you can keep the tops intact and you can eat the entire thing. Now you can see sometimes they're pre-peeled. So they sometimes get a little dry looking. And if that's the case, use your Y peeler and just run it down the edges of the carrot, and it literally just freshens it up in a matter of seconds. It like removes that dry outer layer and it makes these carrots kind of pop again. And I do this a lot, especially if I'm serving crudité or raw vegetables. If I'm roasting these, not going to serve them raw, but roasting them, you can skip this step altogether. But because I'm about to take a cool photo for Instagram, I want this to be beautiful. Now we have the white carrot, we have the purple, we have the yellow, and of course the orange. Here's a little fun fact about carrots. Did you know that there are hundreds of different colors and varieties of carrots? Mostly any produce variety will come in hundreds of different types. Like there's over 200 different types of bananas, but here in the United States, we only get like one kind in the market, sometimes 2, 3 if we're lucky. Well, for carrots, back in the 1950s, there used to be like marketing agencies that would work for these produce companies, which I'm sure still exists somewhat. But there was a really wise marketing agency that worked with the National Carrot Farmers Alliance, and they decided that the carrots were not selling in market in the 50s. And so they decided they would stop growing the heirloom varieties, which would give you the purple and the white and the yellow and the pink. And they started just exclusively growing orange carrots. And they did that because they wanted the carrot to stand out in the grocery store and be unlike any other produce piece that was available in market. And by doing that, all of a sudden here in the United States and globally, the orange carrot became known as like the ultimate, the carrot, right? And so I just want you to know that was like a marketing campaign that occurred, and it really did have an effect. People then started buying carrots, and everyone knows the carrot as the orange veggie, but I don't know if you know, but it does come in a rainbow of colors, and they all have the same nutrient values, but they're really, really great and delicious. All right, I think I'm ready to plate and stop talking. I have a platter here. I'm going to use a little, do I have a smaller one? No, I think that's going to be fine. I'm going to use, how about a green? a green bowl to match my green spinach avocado dip. There we go. Now we're working with it. And then I'm going to freshen up these carrot stems on the, just on the edges here. I can see that some of those are dry as well. And I really want this to look beautiful on my plate. So grab these, arrange them however you want, and then give yourself a good scoop of this dip into a side bowl. And you've got yourself a perfect snack. I'm telling you, you're gonna love this snack. It's so delicious. Of course, you wanna taste for salt and pepper. Now would be the time if you wanted to garnish this up. You can garnish this with hemp seeds on top. That's gonna give you a ton of added protein. Just a few tablespoons of hemp seeds is gonna give you about 10 grams of protein. You can garnish it with chia seeds if you want for a little extra fiber and calcium. Whatever you want, make it your own and make it delicious. Gorgeous. I love this. And then, you know, I mentioned those cilantro flowers. Here's a gorgeous little 3 cilantro flowers I'm going to place right on top here. And there you have it, a beautiful spinach avocado dip that's ready for snack time, you guys. Come on, who wouldn't want a bite of that? This looks really good. All right, I'm going to try this. This one looks great. Before I do, I want to give this food a little gratitude. Thank you, food. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's so good. I've not tried it yet with the coconut yogurt, but it's delicious. It's creamy. It's avocado-y. I taste the cilantro, the garlic, and that coconut yogurt, which is really kind of neutral, but adds like a rich fattiness to this. This recipe is really good. I know that you guys are going to love it. Try it yourself. Nobody's here, so I'm going to double dip. Shh, don't tell anyone. So good. And the carrots. Perfect combo. You can serve it with radishes, jicama, whatever. You guys check out this recipe in issue number 8 of Plant-Based Made Easy. That's right here. And if you want, please consider becoming a member to get a cookbook, a new cookbook every single month right to your inbox. Look at all these amazing recipes and resources for you guys. I want to keep doing this for you. So in order for me to do that and create this free content, please purchase my products. Please share my videos. And if you can, give me a follow on Instagram at Chef D Malfi. I love you all lots. And if you want a really cool, amazing giveaway, I'm doing a Kingshan Cutlery giveaway of a 12-piece knife set. You can check out my Instagram. It's my latest video right there in my feed. It's my last post. And I want you to just become a member of Plant-Based Made Easy. You can follow me and follow at Kingshan Cutlery. And on Sunday, I'm going to run this giveaway all week. On Sunday, I'm going to pick a winner. And I'm going to send you an amazing 12-piece cutlery set from Kingshan. It is really great. So if you need a little refresher for your kitchen, something to get you and inspire you to cook a little bit more, I have a knife set for you that has your name on it. All right, you guys, have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend, and I will see you next time. Next week is going to be a kind of a holiday, and then our new cookbook is coming out the first week of April, so I can't wait to see you back in the studio and in the kitchen then. Have a good one. Peace out.